Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 back at it with another video for you guys. I'm back with another Bleach arc review as we are finally coming off that atrocious Bount arc. My God. Like I said in that video, there were some things that were good, but ultimately together, there were things that were not fleshed out well and not good. I think the idea of the bounce is a fine idea. I don't think was executed fairly the best way. Like I said, I go into more detail in that video. If you just somehow skipped that video because you want to get my thoughts on the main current stuff. But no, here you go. We're back to the main current stuff. For now, because I know there's more filler arcs or something like that coming, which I will be reviewing, despite everybody's I guess probably who I guess people who are probably against it just say just watch the main canon stuff. But I want to watch the filler stuff to see if the filler material is good. Now this portion of the story, there's a part, mostly I think after the second time the Arrancars show up, there is a little filler portion, and that's kind of focused a little bit on Rangiku and this soul in the spirit or soul kid named Shota. And then you get some I'll say this, you get some very hilariously funny fillers that pretty much are just centered around the four Soul Reapers that came into the living world, which are Rangiku, who had a whole freaking 4 episode arc with this Soul Kid. You had Toshiro with a episode with Toshiro with Karin, um, and then you have a filler episode with Ikaku, helping out what I'm guessing is going to be, well, the person who's fallen high over heels, Mizuho, which is one of, I forgot Ichigo's friends, but Ichigo's friend's sister, Keigo, that's Keigo's sister. And then we had like one where the other guy, the one guy that doesn't want his face looking all messed up and everything. But that's kind of it. I thought, one, I skipped the one guy episode because I know the dude from the Soul Society arc came back. Actually, the healer came back. Didn't pay attention to that filler episode. The Ikaku episode, I watched and I absolutely adored, mostly because it took itself a lot more seriously than it did, and plus, it was this man trying to help out this girl win a stupid freaking pretty much win a fencing matchup and stuff like that. It was absolutely hilarious how he got some of the other members like Toshiro involved by pretty much bribing him with freaking candy, and Toshiro was freaking pissed off. He also got Renji to do it as well. But Rangiku was like, no, that shit smells. I'm not fucking doing that shit. So that was actually one of the better filler episodes. I ain't gonna lie. I absolutely was cracking my ass off. And I think the fact that Ikuku has this freaking puppy girl in Mizuho because she likes bald guys, it's freaking hilarious. Makes me want to be in the Bleach world. So Jesus, I can meet Mizuho. That would be a free girlfriend because I always like to get my hair cut and everything. And I like to be bald, so it's absolutely freaking hilarious. And then the Toshiro episode with Karin, it was actually a good episode. I actually did enjoy that and stuff like that because Toshiro kind of let Karin know a little bit more about what Ichigo has been doing, and stuff like that. To pretty much ease her and Yuzu's, I guess, concerns. But they played it up like, oh, Yuzu obviously is the one that's very emotional, and she's very worried about her brother Ichigo. While Karin's kind of like, Ichigo's fine and stuff like that. I don't really care what he's doing. He'll be fine. He'll come back like he always does. But in this episode, we kind of see how she's kind of obviously worried about him. Um, at the same time, there's like their own little soccer storyline in it. But I like how the end of the episode, Toshiro kind of reassures Karin and says, "No, your brother's gonna be okay. He's just training to get stronger so he can protect you and stuff like that." So yeah, and then also it makes this door open to the fact like, oh, they're actually her and Rengiku are he and Rengiku are actually shocked that, oh no, she can see souls, and it makes a lot more sense. Well, will make a lot more sense why Ichigo and Karn can see souls. Now, it's interesting why Yuzu can't, but let's get into it. But the Arrancar arc is after the Bound arc, next canon arc. Now on the website I use slash the wiki, it says this arc goes from episode. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up because I know I have it. I know I have it. Um, the Arrancar arc goes now, mind you, I'm doing the Arrancar arc, the arrival portion of the story when the Arrancar show up. So this video is gonna be dedicated strictly to this. Now, like I said, um, the arc pretty much starts off on episode 111 to 131. Now, personally, that's somewhat wrong because the back half of Orihime getting captured and everything, I honestly feel like that should be counted in the portion of the arc, and I'm just going to count that. And that's pretty much from episodes. Now, if you're watching the anime, I don't know for the manga chapters, but for the anime, if you're watching the Bleach anime, it goes this arc pretty much, in my opinion, contains episodes 111 to 142. And stuff like that. Mostly because Orihime got captured, and I ultimately felt like no, they were still in the living world and everything, and the next arc is the Arrancar Hugo Mundo sneak entry arc. So it would only make sense that no, guess what? Here you go. And it kind of makes sense because in the first arc, that's what it is, which there seemingly enough is some similarities in a way to the Soul Society arc, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But anyways, the Arrancar arc, I was very intrigued to see where this was going, and I was told by my co-host like the story's going to pick up for you. So what you hated in the Bound arc, it's not going to be as prevalent in the Arrancar arc. So we pretty much the Arrancar arc continues this Aizen storyline of what he's been up to and stuff like that. So we have it to where Ichigo goes out to do pretty much to kill a hollow, but all of a sudden we see this new character show up. This new character called Shinji show up, and he goes on to tell Ichigo, like, hey, and we find out that Shinji's also a person in his class and everything. And he's like, who the hell are you? And he goes on to make the mention, like, I'm a visor. Excuse me, I'm a visored, and you're a visored too. Which pretty much a visored is just a person that can control their hollow abilities and use a Zappa Kento. Or use a sword like a Soul Reaper, pretty much. And the thing is, we have it to where Ichigo, he doesn't he doesn't really freaking care for this whole situation, this guy and everything, and he starts freaking clashing and fighting with this guy. Now in the meantime, we had it to where when Ichigo went out, Kon actually went into his body and he was doing his little perverted things to go see women and stuff like that. Now, mind you, a big key difference for the anime version and the manga version. Now, in the anime version, they still subsequently remind the moments of the filler arc, which are the Bound characters and stuff like that. Like we see in Ichigo's training, Karia actually shows up. As opposed to in the manga, from what I heard, it's only just Byakuya and Kenpachi. But like I said, the filler characters that were in the Bound arc, they're still here. So you have Ririn and her group of mod souls. They're still involved. They're not as involved. They like obviously are side characters, like to the extreme. They try to not get them involved in the story, but they're there. And in some cases, they try to impact fights as best they can. But obviously, the characters just swat them away like flies. So I guess it's cool that they're keeping the continuity for the anime in a way, even though they have the filler characters and makes no sense, but they still stay what I'm guessing stay true to what the manga story is. But anyways. Kon is in Ichigo's body, and we see the one hollow that killed Ichigo's mom. And he's going and he sees Kon in Ichigo's body. He doesn't know that it's Kon. But it gets to the point where all of a sudden you know, Ishiki Kurosaki, Ichigo's dad, um, he shows up and pretty much takes this guy out, this hollow out, and gets the revenge for his wife. And we find out he is a soul raper. And presumably he's at a captain's level. Okay. I was absolutely shocked and I was absolutely floored because I'm like, wait, and how? But at the same time, I thought it over. I'm like, now it makes a lot more sense why Ichigo's able to see souls and even Karin's able to see souls. Now, I don't know why Yuzu is not able to see souls yet. Maybe she's slightly a year or two younger than Karin, and she has to wait a while before she's able to see souls. But then again, when they went to flashbacks with Ichigo as a kid, he could always see souls and he could see, the hollow and everything. So I don't know why Yuzu can't see anything. But so far it's only with Ichigo and Karin they can see spirits that typically regular people can't see. And stuff like that, which maybe that means Yuzu just doesn't have a high spirit power, because mostly characters who can see these spirit characters and hollows and stuff like that, it's because they have actually fairly decent spirit power, and stuff like that. So maybe Yuzu doesn't have that, but I was absolutely shocked that this guy, he is a soul reaper, and he goes on to say the mention like, I always knew Cone you were there. I also always knew about Ichigo and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to say the least. Like, okay, why are you hiding this information from your son? Shouldn't you tell him you're a soul reaper so that maybe you can potentially help him train? But that's freaking crazy. But this arc also, kind of I guess you can say it kind of now introduces the fact that other people from the other supporting characters, they're starting to now catch on to like, okay, Ichigo, what's really going on? Like we see with Karin later on in this arc, and then what we eventually see with Tatsuki at the end of this arc, at the end of the arc, when she realizes, oh no, and even Keigo and the third friend, they realize what the hell is going on with Ichigo and stuff like that. So this is the arc that's now opening other characters' eyes were always suspicious, like what's really going on with you guys and stuff like that, um, and things like that. So it's very interesting to say the least. And also, he knows Uehara. Uehara knows who he is. He knows who he is. Apparently, we find out that his powers returned, and I'm guessing his soul, his powers were gone. His Soul Reaper powers were gone, and now they have returned. Now my thoughts on the whole fact that he killed the Hollow that killed Ichigo's mom slash his wife. It doesn't really bother me. He gets his revenge, but I think they built this Hollow up to be killed by Ichigo. That now it's not going to be paid off because, well, his dad just killed it, which this should have been Ichigo's whole thing, and stuff like that. Now we also find out that he's also modified. Aizen also modified this guy to at least take the form of a human, pretty much, and look like a human at the same time, looking just like a hollow. Which it goes to show that his plans are speeding up, or whatever plans that they have, in tune, for what's ultimately going on and stuff like that. So, yes, but because of this, Ichigo feels this super crazy high power and spiritual pressure. He goes over there after dealing with Shinji and getting away from him, but doesn't find out anything. But the thing is, you know, we have it to where Ichigo's dad pretty much tells Uehara, listen, keep this a secret from my son. Don't tell him anything. And even Uehara's like, shouldn't you tell him? And he's like, no, not now. It's not the right time, pretty much. So I'm 10 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, you know, gonna predict that Ishiki will eventually tell Ichigo somewhere later down the road that he's a Soul Reaper, and something happened because we find out pretty much later. I guess he broke the rules and he was sent to the living world. Now, don't know what that means. Maybe he decided to go against something. Maybe he used to live in a soul society and he went against something that the Soul Society was against, and he's like, no, screw that, I'm not going to do that. Maybe it has something to do with Ichigo's mother. Maybe he was forbidden to fall in love with a living human because he lived in the Soul Society. Um, but maybe he's like, no, screw it. I love this woman. I'm gonna go live with her. So you can kick rocks, pretty much. And like I said, I'll get my thoughts on the Soul Society as a whole at the end after Orihime gets captured, because I'm really starting to get pissed off by the whole Soul Society characters and shit like that. But whatever, whatever, whatever. So that's kind of the thing too, and everything. Um, so yes. But the next portion of the story pretty much happens. Also too, I forgot to mention, we also have a part where Uryu gets attacked by, I think, a Rancor or a Hollow. And all of a sudden, his dad actually shows up and saves him with Quincy powers. And it's very shocking because we got a flashback. The fact that Uryu's father wanted nothing to do with Quincy powers. But pretty much, this starts his training arc in this arc. And we barely see Uryu. And pretty much, Uryu's father says, listen, I can train you to get your Quincy powers back. Only thing is, if you want to undergo this training, you're gonna have to not be affiliated with anything Soul Reaper related, which that makes no sense because you're giving your son pretty much an ultimatum. It's either get your powers back or not. And if you do, well, you can't interact with Ichigo and other Soul Reapers, which I think makes absolutely no damn sense. Like, you're your own person. Who gives a crap? I'm like, dude, the dude could get his powers back and then he can just start talking to Ichigo and other Soul Reapers again. But hey, he honors his promise, which makes no damn sense, but okay. Whatever. Um, but like I said, the thing is, we are pretty much we have it to where all of a sudden the Arrancar characters, they end up showing up by the name. We get two new Arrancar characters, and one is named Yami, and the other one is named Kiora Cipher, which, mind you, the designs, especially for Ulquiorra, look badass. And some of the other Arrancar designs, they look really freaking good too. Very ranging in different designs and stuff like that. Like, Green Jaw, I think he looks badass and stuff like that. But they pretty much come to Red. They pretty much come and they were sent with orders from Aizen to pretty much see what Ichigo's been up to and pretty much in a way see if he's worth killing. And we have it to where Chad and Orihime, they try to get involved in the fight, but they absolutely get destroyed. Freaking Chad almost gets his entire arm blown off, and we have it to where freaking Orihime, well, she stands absolutely no chance. Her Tsubaki pretty much ends up getting badly damaged to the point, she can't heal it for a substantial amount of time till the later half of this arc. But at the same time, it gets to the point where she's almost about to be killed, and stuff like that. All of a sudden, we have it to where Ichigo shows up, and everything out. In the meantime, we have it to where Ichigo's kind of having a midlife crisis in a way, or a mental crisis, because he's afraid of his hollow taking over him 100%. And in this fight, it's very abundantly clear that Ichigo is getting his ass whooped, and it gets to the point where, he's absolutely getting destroyed, but he feels the hollow power is coming, but mostly at the same time, he's also holding back so the hollow power doesn't come out and just go pretty much crazy and doesn't go crazy and go on the rampart and everything, to the point he even like screams out at Orihime like, yo, you need to stay the fuck back. And this actually scares Orihime and everything. But the thing is, what happens is he ends up getting his freaking ass kicked, and it gets to the point where it looks like, Ichigo is going to be taking like pretty much a killing blow. But Uehara and Yoraichi show up to drive them away, and pretty much Ulquiorra pretty much says, this guy isn't even fucking worth killing. This guy is weak as hell. I don't know why Lord Aizen took an interest in this guy. There's no point. So they just dip. But the one thing that was interesting is Ulquiorra, he made a mention because we see Orihime actually healing Chan, and he picks it up. He's like, that girl's interesting. It looks like she has some sort of insane, very special like power, which starts this whole thing later on. But yes, this presumes in characters getting their butts kicked. And that's when we have the Soul Society characters show up yet again. But in this form, it's Ikaku, the one I should have let me find this guy's name so I don't have to freaking keep saying the guy, the pretty guy. Okay, I got his name. It's Yumachika. So, like I was saying, Yumachika, Yumachika, Ikaku, Renji returns, Rengiku. Yes, everybody loves Rengiku. Rengiku shows up and Toshiro shows up, making the Toshiro, I believe, the first captain to come over to the living world from the Soul Society we've seen so far. Um, and stuff like that. And we even see it to where Rukia shows up as well. Because they show up at the school and they're like, well, we need your assistance in taking on the Arrancar and everything. Um, and the reason why Ichigo is somewhat against it is because, like I said, he's afraid of his inner hollow. And even Ruki is like, what? Are you afraid about getting your butt kicked? Or are you afraid about the inner hollow pretty much taking you over? Which we find out that no, they know that he has an inner hollow within him, which obviously makes sense because he fought Byakuya and it came out and stuff like that. Hell, even in the Bount arc, it came out again, and stuff like that. Which presumably this is when we get the whole thing about the Iran cars and the fact that ultimately ultimately they're pretty much, let's just say, varying in strengths. So we get pretty much three different types of Arancars, which are Menos Grande. So you have the regular Menos Grande, which are the Gillian, which are pretty much the weakest forms. Then you have the Aduchas, that are kind of the mid-level form that can be a little bit of a problem. But then you have the most dangerous type of Menos Grande level, and that's the Vasto Lorde. And the Vassal Lorde, which Toshiro pretty much makes a mention of, saying it's like, listen, Vassal Lordes, they're a problem. And if there are about 10 of those bad boys, we're fucked. And I mind you, I'm watching this for the first time. I'm like, so you're telling me these motherfuckers are pretty much at captain level. I think they make a mention at the next two levels, they're at captain level, or if not beyond captain level. And pretty much Toshiro's like, yeah, they got 10 of those bad boys. Sorry, but the Soul Society is fucked. Which funny enough coincides. We get over to Waco Mundo, and we finally see Aizen pretty much in all his glory, sitting up top like a freaking king. And as Yami and Ukiura come back, they pretty much tell their findings, and we find out that there isn't 10, there's double of that, which means 20 of them. When I'm just like, there's 20 of them? Okay, well, goodbye, Soul Society. You guys are all screwed and everything, and stuff like that. Um, Again, another observation I was also making throughout this arc, it's very interesting the fact that surprisingly, Aizen is apparently stronger than all these guys, and stuff like that. Um, which is definitely freaking shocking to say the least. It's very interesting that Aizen's just lording over these Arrancar, and hey, they're taking orders from this guy. Also at the same time, we find out that Aizen's full plot hasn't come to fruition yet because Hyogokyu has yet to be fully pretty much matured and everything. So they're kind of against the clock, and they got to take out these Arrancar and stuff like that. And plus, they're also stationed there with the fact that Ichigo and company got attacked by the Arrancar just the other day. So in a way, they're kind of there to provide assistance. So after the Arrancar show up, maybe they can find some information and beat out of them and stuff like that. Which, hey, it's very interesting. But like I said, Okira stands before eyes and pretty much says, yeah, that Ichigo Kurosaki, he's nothing worth your time. Now, we get introduced to many of the other ones, not all of them, but obviously one of the main antagonists this arc in the Arrancar arc is um Grimjow. Hold on a freaking. Yeah, I was correct on the name. I just wanted to make sure the name was correct. Right, Grimjow Jaggerjaw. Oh my gosh. I'm just telling you, man. When I first heard this dude's name, I was cracking. I'm like, wait, hold on. Your last name is Jaggerjaw. That's absolutely hilarious. And stuff like that. So yeah. But anyways, um anyways, the Arrancar, they pretty much range. You can tell they're top 10 fighters with the top 10 Arrancar based on the numbers on their body. And we have it to where Grimjow, he's the sixth strongest Arrancar, but everyone else is kind of just range in the same level, or just still as strong and stuff like that. So, yes. In the meantime, everybody goes to find a place to live, or stay or be stationed at. Obviously, Rukia, she lives with Ichigo. Renji lives at Uehara's place. Rangiku and Toshiro, they end up stationing at Orihime's place, and we have it to later where Ikaku and Yumachika, they're stationed at Keigo's place, where eventually, when his sister first sees Ikaku, she absolutely freaking simps for the guy, which, mind you, leads to funny ass comedy and funny ass dialogue. And the fact that Ikaku, he doesn't honestly, like, I would think he would care and he would get annoyed, but honestly, he doesn't really fucking get annoyed. He's like, and in some cases, he actually embraces it. I'm like, bro, this guy is funny. I'm like, this guy got a free girlfriend right then and there, just because this guy's bald, which is absolutely hilarious. If you haven't seen the filler episode focused on Ikagu, you need to watch that, because the moments that his sister Mizuho, freaking Keigo's sister Mizuho, has is absolutely hilarious. But regardless, she's a funny ass character. But they're stationed here. So I want to speak about the Orihime character development stuff going on. And it's actually very interesting stuff like that. So this kind of starts off the standpoint that Rukia, in a way, freaking takes Ichigo somewhere to, because Ichigo's still not in his right mental state. Like, he's still bothered by the fact that his hollow could take over and everything. So Rukia takes him to fight against this hollow, and pretty much says, "Listen, you need to get back to your old self. You weren't this afraid of attacking and stuff like that. Why? You just afraid of your hollow form taking over? You can defeat it. You'll overcome that, like you always overcome everything you've done," which gets Ichigo back in his right mindset, and everything. And the thing is, over time, Orihime has been seeing this change. She's kind of been a little bit frustrated about, this whole demeanor, this depressed demeanor that Ichigo is has been dealing with, and she wants to find some way to help. But all of a sudden, we have it to where Rukia shows up in front of Orihime with Ichigo, and pretty much gets Ichigo to pretty much apologize to Orihime by, saying, like, "I'm sorry for worrying you," and stuff like that. I promise you I will get stronger so I can protect you and everybody else. But I guess in the manga he said, like, or like I said in the manga, or even I think in the sub anime, he said he wants to get stronger so he can protect Orihime. Now Orihime's whole thing is, her whole thing is about getting stronger. At the same time, she's also, I guess you could say, in the mode, if not already had developed, has her feelings for Ichigo already there, set and developed. Now, the reason why this kind of conjectures and kind of, I guess you can say, molds into one thing is, one, we get we have a discussion with Rangiku and Orihime, where Orihime pretty just lets her feelings and her emotions out, telling Rangiku, like, "Listen, I have." She pretty much confesses that she has feelings for Ichigo to her, and pretty much the thing is, she is jealous of the fact that Ichigo can cheer up fairly easily when it comes to Rukia doing something or saying something in his ear. And guess what? He was depressed. Rukia comes back, and then after a few minutes, he's happy again. And she's jealous of the fact, like, it hurts. It in a way hurts for the fact that this other girl, who's my friend, you know, she shows up against to she shows up for somebody that in a way she's only known for about a few months. Well, I've kind of known Ichigo for maybe about, they don't specify how long or Hime's known Ichigo, but I'll say this, maybe about a year or two. Um and stuff like that. And we have it to where Orihime, she feels a little bit jealous the fact like, Rukia just came along today for, it's been the first time in a while since Ichigo seen her. All of a sudden, she cheers Ichigo back to himself again. But, you know, I wanted to be the one that was the one standing by Ichigo's side to cheer him up and get him back to being normal and everything. At the same time, this also kind of coerces or kind of connects with the whole fact that she wants to get stronger, so she doesn't have Ichigo always protecting her. She wants to stand alongside Ichigo and fight alongside Ichigo. Where she doesn't want Ichigo to worry about her, it's because she knows that she can take care of herself and everything. And it's kind of a raw thing and everything. And I like how Rengiku embraced her by saying pretty much that no, you're wrong. Ichigo is not only going to need Rukia, but he's also going to need you too, and stuff like that, which it makes a lot of sense. I definitely do like this moment, and this arc definitely, and I mean definitely gives you a lot of Orihime Ichigo moments here, bro. Especially with that a very emotional goodbye scene at the end of this arc. And stuff like that. It was freaking. I when I before I came into Bleach, I always knew like, yeah, Ichigo's probably shipped with Orihime, but I'm first watching this here, and I'm like, how is he shipped with Orihime? But for some reason, this man's going tooth and nail for Rukia and everything, and they actually grow a nice bond. And I'm like, how are they not shipped? But we clearly can see that between Rukia and Ichigo, they both extremely care about each other, but their relationship is plutonic. There is no like romance between the two. It's extremely plutonic. As in the case of Orihime, no, this relationship, this time she spent with Ichigo since the start of the series, she started to grow feelings for him. She started to like him. She started to admire him, and stuff like that. We see it like in the Soul at the end of the Soul Society arc, that she was wanted to be there watching Ichigo's fight and everything, and she was there and everything, and she just reflects on all this and stuff like that. So it's like, damn. On top of it, it doesn't help any further with the fact that when everybody's in their range of training, which I'll get into in a quick second after I make this point on. So, which actually, let me get into it. So we get the Arrancar pretty much attacking again, but this time it's led by Grimjow Jaggerjaw. Sounds like a dinosaur's name, bro. Sounds like one of those cartoon character names or something like that. But the reason why Grimjow and his forces pretty much attack Ichigo and company is pretty much because he didn't like the fact that Okiora pretty much spared Ichigo, and he's like, no, ninja, you should have just killed him on sight. If I was there, I would have killed him despite what you felt that he's not worth killing, and stuff like that. So he pretty much goes against Aizen's words, goes to the living world, and this is when we're said to most of the individual fights the Soul Society members have with these Arrancar. And what happens? Simple. Each and every one of them gets their asses handed to them. Like absolutely gets their asses handed to them. They in some cases now they, with the exception of Ichigo, pretty much they all come out on top, but that's mostly because they get their nice power boost. And Ikaku, he pretty much reveals that he has a Bankai, which is crazy strong. At the same time, we get a backstory to how it connects to Kenpachi and the respect he has for Kenpachi. At the same time, we also get we are also told of the fact that, oh no, he was selected to be a captain, but he turned that down because he rather do something else. He wants to pretty much continue to fight till he eventually dies. And I really do like that. It had a whole tie into Renji and everything. And it was pretty cool. And like I said, Ikaku's freaking Bankai was absolutely insane. And it was crazy. And this man freaking almost died, freaking taking down one of these Rancars and stuff like that. At the same time, you get a funny scene where like I said, he ends up meeting up with Keijo and is living over at Keijo's place and stuff like that. While the other Soul Reapers, they have to end up getting the okay from the Soul Society to use this power boost that pretty much lets them, or pretty much increases their power tenfold. And the Arrancars just don't stand a chance against them. So those Arrancars are dead now. Rukia actually takes out one of the first Arrancars that show up, but you know, all the other Arrancars at the time, they were like, oh, that guy, he was a cocky bastard. He was weak as shit. You got, I don't know why we brought him over here. And then all of a sudden we have it where Grimjow shows up, impales Rukia, and this is when we're like, oh, okay, this guy's a legit problem. And then he has a fight with Ichigo, and Ichigo gets his ass kicked by this guy too. Um, and stuff like that, to the point he uses one of his special attacks, and it almost starts to bring the hollow out with him and within him. But all of a sudden we have it to where Tozen, yes, the fallen Captain Tozen, shows up and says Aizen's been very disappointed that you would do this. Pretty much takes him back because pretty much all the other Rancars are completely lost and dead. Now, mind you, too, there's also another storyline that's taking place too, and that's with Chad's character. Now, before Grimjow actually shows up, or before they're showing up, and Chad feels this pressure, and before he almost pretty much gets killed, Ichigo shows up and pretty much tells him off, says, "Dude, get out of here, go to safety. I'll take care of this." But Chad is so, and when Chad runs away, he's kind of visibly frustrated, which Rookie kind of picks up later on. We kind of find out that, you know, Chad, see, from Chad's perspective, he feels like Ichigo doesn't view him um as a strong individual anymore. He doesn't view him like as somebody that can fight alongside him. And he was very visibly frustrated, which, you know, like I said, after this whole arc, pretty much, or after this whole portion of the story of the arc, this pursues in a training arc, or a training little arc, I guess you can say, in this arc. Now, with what's going on is pretty much Grimjow, since he broke the rules, he's confronted by Aizen and stuff like that. And the only reason why he pretty much did this so he could get approval from Aizen, but Tozen is not having none of it. He's like, Ninja, you didn't do the right thing for justice and everything. Innocent lives were lost because of it. He cuts off his arm, and then he's also taken his position is also taken away, and pretty much their elite 10. I forgot what their group was called. They're the Arrancar's elite 10 members, pretty much the strongest 10. I forgot their group, but he pretty much get kicked out of their elite 10, and he gets a replacement who we see at the end of the arc that ends up getting killed by Grimjow and stuff like that. Yeah, and we also find out that, you know, for the time being, his arm damage is permanent. Like, he can't regrow his arm and stuff like that. Which, you know, we see it later on that and like I said, or yeah, wait, actually, I'll get to the training montage right now. So the training stuff pretty much involves the care arc, Ichigo and company getting stronger. Like, we get pretty much the alert from Captain Yamamoto that Aizen's whole end goal is to reach pretty much this Soul King and everything. And to access it, he needs this key, this specialized key to do it. And to create this key, pretty much he needs to take a bunch of souls from the town that Ichigo, Orihime, Chad, and Uryu all live in. And when that is accomplished, well then Kakaru Town is pretty much going to be null and void, and it will be everybody will be gone, and the town will be there as if it never existed. Yeah, so this man is trying to do this to kill the Soul King. And my goodness, probably be king or god of the entire universe. Anyway, so Aizen's still on this god complex. Yes, yes, yes. So that presumes the characters in training to get stronger. Obviously, I was meant to mention about Uryu training. Ichigo ends up training Ichigo ends up training with the visors because he knows that he needs to freaking control his hollow powers, and he doesn't want to lose control of it again and potentially losing himself forever. So he goes to the visors and stuff like that, and that's pretty much where most of the people don't know where he is until, like, you know, until Orihime actually goes to find him and stuff like that. Chad, in his case, he ends up asking Orihara to train him to get stronger so he can stand alongside Ichigo, and him and Renji starts training with Chad to get stronger and stuff like that. In the meantime, Orihime wants to train to get stronger as well. But this is another point of her development, is the fact that Uehara pretty much kind of rudely tells her off in kind of a dick type of way. Says, no, you're not going to get involved. Your Subaki's badly damaged, which means you have no form of attack. All you are just a healer and a defensive, person that can pretty much just defend. Other than that, nothing. And all through Orihime's plea, and even Chad gets involved in this situation, like saying, no, she's helped us along the way and everything. She, like, please reconsider this. But Orihara's like, nope, 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 nope. You can't do this. You can't do this. Sorry. It'd be in the best interest for you to just stay home and not get involved in the fight, because you're just going to be a person that gets in the way. Now, I personally didn't like this from Uehara, from what he said, because it felt really out of character for him to say that. And it was kind of very rude to Orihime, because it's like Chad said, Orihime's been there from the start and she's been helping out everybody or this entire time and stuff like that. Now, yeah, she didn't get involved in any major dangerous fights and stuff like that, but at the same time, she's did her part to help out. And the fact that he said, listen, we even have squad 4 to help out with this situation, so we ultimately don't need your healing abilities. It really felt really harsh of him to say that, and it really felt like the effed up thing. Eventually, Rukia ended up meeting up with Orihime, and even Rukia's like, why would he say that? That's fucking terrible that he would say something like that to you and stuff like that. And pretty much Rukia's like, no, you are going to help fight. You can't tell, nobody can tell you what to do, pretty much, and stuff like that. So hold on a quick second, guys. Okay, back. Sorry to do personally, but hey, that's what recording's for. But anyways. So like I said, the train aren't presumed for this, and we have it to where Orihime, she ends up training in the Soul Society to better use her powers and stuff like that. But the one thing is, she actually ends up going to where the visors locations at. Speaking of the visors, so the visors are pretty much a group of individuals that are established. Shinji is right then and there, and we have it to where we're also introduced to the presumed leader named Hiyori. Hiyori is pretty much the leader, and pretty much the thing is, Ichigo goes there to ask them to, like, hey, I want to control my hollow. Take me, train me to do that. So they pretty much, through strenuous means, they pretty much make him do that, and they bring out his hollow form and everything, which goes to show you that this guy Ichigo's got some crazy power. So they try to do these little things, training and stuff like that, but Ichigo's like, no, I just need to learn how to do it. So they take him to this underground basement area similar to that of Uehara's, and they make him pretty much forcefully, turn himself into a hollow. In a way, he has to fight within his inner mental state and defeat his hollow and not let it consume him. Otherwise, they're going to have to kill him. And we have it where you have Hollow Ichigo versus regular Ichigo, and in this fight, pretty much, it's Ichigo having to learn the fact that he has to fight with just pure instinct, instead of having this worry and this thing of what could potentially happen. And you had these moments where you get flashes from the past in the form of Byakuya, Kenpachi. If you watch the anime, you see Kariya as well and stuff like that. And the thing is, he just has to have the instinct just to kill and continue to have that instinct. He shouldn't have to worry about and be, have to be judgmental in terms of like, oh, is this what's going to happen because of this? And no, you just have to go kill. When you have an opportunity to take it or an opportunity to strike, you just take it. You have the instinct to do it. And actually, it's something, very mentally thing, a mental thing for humans, of the fact, like, in some cases, we sometimes can hesitate to do something because we just want to look at, okay, what could be the outcomes of this situation, stuff like that, instead of just, you know what, screw it, just do it. You just instinctively do it because, it's something you just have to do and stuff like that. And it was very crazy, but you have it to where, the Hollow Ichigo saying, no, I am, who you say you are, and stuff like that. And it's very shocking, and it kind of goes to show that the hollow portion and the sword persona, it's the same one and the same, and a yin and yang type of thing going on. What happens is Ichigo finally realizes this. He managed to defeat his hollow version, and pretty much his hollow version is like, I'm just warning you, you ever get weak, I will come back and I will be the king of the body. So it's very interesting. At some points, the Hollow Ichigo comes across like a little mini antagonist, but at the same time, I really felt like this Hollow Ichigo actually helped Ichigo kind of open his eyes to be like, you want to control me? Here's what you need to do. In a way, you need to have the instinct to kill, and stuff like that. Also, this scene also definitely did remind me in a way of if you watch or read Black Clover, it reminded me of when Asta brought out his devil um to pretty much be in control and use his devil union form and stuff like that. It really reminded me of that. So in a way you can say Black Clover uh took that from Bleach. Funny enough, too, when Ichigo back when he was first fighting Hiyori was freaking and in his hollow form, he got pinned down. Everybody had their swords at him, like back in Black Clover. How when freaking Black Clover, when everybody surrounded Longris, pretty much saying, "You freaking touch him, we're gonna kill you." So you can see that Black Clover took some elements from Bleach. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So, yes, but in the meantime, we have it to where Orihime, she's feeling Ichigo's spirit pressure, and she goes there, she meets up with Ichigo, but Ichigo at this time, he's already learning to try to better up his hollow powers. Now he can draw the mask out and everything. And the thing is, he just has up trouble maintaining it. So he's training to maintain using the hollow mask a lot longer and stuff like that. But Orihime shows up and Ichigo kind of reassures her, like, no, don't worry about me. I'm gonna get stronger, I promise you. And stuff like that. While at the same time, the thing is, Orihime went to tell Ichigo everything of what's happening and stuff like that. Also at the same time, Orihime in a way gets kind of a master student type of thing relationship with this guy called hold on, I'm finding him. Nope, not her. Not him. Hachi. Um so Hachi pretty much has somewhat similar powers. Um has somewhat similar powers to that of Orihime. But we have it to where, he's like, well, here's what you can do to better get your abilities to be stronger and stuff like that. At the same time, he also heals Subaki and stuff like that. So that's really good. In the meantime, in Wako Mundo, we see how Aizen has taken a very interest in Orihime and the fact of her powers and her abilities, which I'll get into now. And we get the penultimate ending to this arc, where this time it's now Aizen sends his forces on a mission to capture Orihime. Now, as Orihime is coming back from the Soul Society, she gets pretty much stalked by Okiora. Now, in the meantime, the other characters are fighting. The other characters, Ichigo and company, are fighting the other Rancars. You get a rematch between Ichigo and Grimjow, and Ichigo's trying to use his mask, but at the same time, it breaks down. And he again gets his ass whooped by Grimjow again, to the point he gets his arms impaled to the point that the damn near sword is stuck in his freaking forearms and everything. Rukia shows up in the nick of time to save Ichigo from pretty much being killed by Grimjow with this one attack. But it doesn't really do anything. She frees him, which, mind you, I've wanted to make the mention. Rukia as a Soul Reaper is absolutely freaking strong, and she has and her ice freaking abilities are just crazy good. I knew she had ice abilities because I played her character in Jump Force. I was just wondering, like, okay, when is she going to show off her Soul Reaper powers? And here we go, and stuff like that. But presumably, the Arancars have to retreat because when they got their mission taken care of, they got their mission taken care of. And with Ukiora, pretty much he pretty much forces Orihime, or in a way bribes her into going, and pretty much threatens and says, listen, you don't do this, we will kill your friends and everything. And because of it, she ends up caving in and giving in. So she's given this bracelet by Ulquiorra where it makes her only visible to the Arrancars. Nobody will be able to see her, and stuff like that. And the fact that she can only say goodbye to one person, and stuff like that. But you can't tell them any details of why you're being taken. Otherwise, you know what's gonna happen. Your friends will die, and stuff like that. So you have this whole thing with Orihime to where with Orihime where she's just wondering who should she tell, and stuff like that. And it gets to the point where it's like she thinks about Tatsuki and everything and stuff like that. But eventually she goes over to Ichigo's place. Um and she's just standing over Ichigo's body, and also too she can go through walls and everything. Um and she's pretty much just right there now. She looks like she's going in to kiss Ichigo, and I'm like, is she gonna kiss him? Holy shit, she's gonna kiss him! Yes, finally! But no, she holds herself back because she feels like she can't do it. Um, and that's when she starts getting very emotional and everything. The fact that everything that's happened and stuff like that. And she pretty much says, like, I always wanted to do this when I grew up, do this when I grew up, do this all when I grew up, and stuff like that. And she ends up going to say, like, if I did all five of those things, I would still fall in love with the same person each of those 5 times, which in a reference is in a way in any situation, it's a reference to her pretty much admitting to the fact that she is in love with, or like that, admitting to the fact, yeah, that she's in love with Ichigo, and that it doesn't matter what she would have done if she was not helping him, she would have still fell in love with Ichigo each of those different times. And she pretty much leaves these tears on Ichigo's face, which pretty much is the last thing of a soul. So, I guess you can say her soul pressure giving off and ending. She ends up going with Ulquiorra to the Hukamundo. She ends up healing Grimjow's arm and everything, and his scars that he had. And Grimjow just kills the one replacement guy that replaced him and everything. And Orihime's just put in this prison cell, and it's just wondering, like, what she's doing is the right thing to do, and stuff like that. Now in the meantime, Ichigo gets back up, and he felt a slight presence from Orihime, but it's completely gone now. So Shiro brings him in, and they're pretty much having a meeting with Head Captain Yamamoto, and they pretty much find out that Orihime, from what the guards who were badly injured by Ulquiorra, they pretty much say that Orihime has either been killed or she was kidnapped. And pretty much the leading cause is the Soul Society is treating it as if she's betraying them. And Ichigo obviously is very, very visibly upset at this situation. He's like, there is no way she would betray us. She had to have gotten kidnapped by the enemy and everything. And the interesting thing is in this whole discussion is just from the standpoint that the thing is with everything that's going on, Head Captain Yamamoto pretty much calls back all the Soul Reapers, like, you need to come back to the Soul Society so we can protect our home from Aizen and the Arrancars. In the meantime, Ichigo is like, no, 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 no. You're telling us we're just gonna abandon and forget about Orihime? And Yamamoto's like, yeah, sure, that's fine, but yeah, there's nothing else we can do. And Ichigo's like, and now this was first Rukia who made this mention point and stuff like that. And pretty much Rukia's like, sorry, sir, but I cannot agree to those terms. Orihime's our friend. We need to go to Wakomunda. We need to go save her and stuff like that. And the head captain's like, I figured it would take this approach. So apparently this guy brought Byakuya and Kenpachi, and they're just there to be like, listen, if you don't listen, we're going to kick your asses by force if we have to do it. So we'll either have to drag you to the Soul Society, or what is it? You have to defeat us pretty much to do what you want. Which I think in turn would probably more than likely make them traitors in their own right, because they'd be breaking their own law. They'd probably be deemed as characters that broke the law, broke the Soul Society, and it would be deemed, I guess you could say, as Ryoga, and stuff like that. But Ichigo pretty much is fed up with this whole situation. He asks the head captain, like, okay, if that's the case, then you can let them go. Tell me how to get to Wako Mundo. And freaking Yamamoto's like, sorry, Ichigo Kurosaki, we cannot allow you. I cannot allow you to do that because I want you to participate in this fight because we're gonna need your power to go up against Aizen. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Let me just get into this whole thing. I'm like, so you're telling me you brought Orihime into your grounds. You declared her as a hero in this whole Soul Society arc thing, too. Um, and all of a sudden, you're just gonna give up on her. You'll bring her into your home to help her get strong and help her train. And all of a sudden, you want to give up on her because there is a potential threat that she may have been betrayed or she may have gotten kidnapped. And oh, you're just too afraid about it. I'm like, didn't you guys want to nip this Aizen thing in the bud now instead of waiting back on it? You wanted to attack. Like, why? Like, why not make a frontal attack on his play, on his palace, and take him out now instead of waiting for him later? Because you're afraid of dealing with this guy and stuff like that. And it was kind of fucked up too, how we told Ichigo, like, no, I want you to be stationed here because we're gonna need your power. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And the funny thing is, he goes on to make the mention, like, we don't have time to value over a human's life. I'm like, but you want to be the person that tells Ichigo, a human, what to do. Funny how you deem that whole thing, and it kind of adds to this whole storyline because when Shinji first showed up, he pretty much specified to Ichigo, like, the Soul Reapers, you don't want to trust those guys. Those guys are nothing. You don't want to trust the Soul Reapers. They're gonna just stab you in the back. You might want to join us, the Visors and stuff like that, which now it's making a lot more sense. Now throwing this whole hint out, like, okay, you can't trust the Soul Reapers because the Soul Reapers, the Soul Society as a whole, they just look out for their own personal gain. They look out for their own personal selves. They don't look out for the others because if they did, they would have did everything to go after Orihime and bring her back. But no, we see how the Soul Society, they don't care. They just follow their dumb little laws and they just don't really care. All they care about is themselves. And we go to see how selfish these characters are. Some of these characters are good. Like we saw how Ukitake, he knew something was not right, and he went against um he went up against the what the Soul Society was doing to Rukia. So maybe there's other captains we have yet to understand if they're not cool with it. And like I said, we clearly see that Rukia doesn't like this. Now we don't know about the other characters. Now I started watching a tiny bit of the next arc of the Wako Mundo arc. Now in the openings, it looked like Renji and Rukia are gonna be going rogue and showing up in Wako Mundo. Makes sense. Um, and stuff like that. But it's really messed up, man. And it just really makes me hate the Soul Society a lot more than I already did. And it makes me be like, okay, yeah, this dude Shinji's absolutely right. I wouldn't want to trust these guys either. These guys don't help any. Like, listen, these guys tried to kill Rukia, Ichigo's best friend, for no apparent reason. Oh, because she broke rules of giving somebody her Soul Reaper powers. Big deal. But apparently it's a taboo for the Soul Society, and now they want to go back and help Orihime. Hell, if we're getting into the freaking filler stuff with the Bounty arc, the Soul Society was utter shit in that too. They made Ichigo have to deal with all that crap in the Bounty arc by himself. And they literally just said, here, you deal with it and stuff like that. This is none of our concern. This is none of our problem until this has an adverse impact on the Soul Society. So let me get this straight. When the Soul Society gets impacted by any certain circumstance, that's when they want to get involved. But if it has nothing to do with them, they don't want to get involved. It makes me hate the Soul Society a lot more than I already did. And it makes me like, bro, why are you guys deemed as heroes, bro? Man, I'd be like, please, your freaking style is trash by your values that you must stand by. And stuff like that, which, like I said, this makes me hate the Soul Society characters a lot more, mostly the main leaders, and it's mostly Captain Yamato. He's not making a good impression because he's making fucking decisions that fucking, I'm like, dude, You're freaking garbage, bro. Get the hell out of it. It makes me hate the whole society, Soul Society characters all now. Some of them I really do like, but I can understand. They gotta follow the law. They gotta follow it. It just sucks that they can't do shit. And I would have liked it if Toshiro would have stepped up and been like, Head Captain, listen. With all due respect, this is a major issue. This girl is something near and dear to them. Please, we have to do whatever we can to help them. And who knows? Maybe it helps. And I forgot to make a mention too. Um, we actually do have a talk earlier in the arc where Momo actually talks to Toshiro. She apologizes for everything that she did in the last arc from damaging him, but we also still see how ultimately Aizen fucked this girl's mind up because she still is on this Aizen cuckoo or this Aizen Kool-Aid, bro. She literally tells Toshiro, listen, I know you have to fight him, but please do not kill Captain Aizen. Please save him from himself. And I'm watching this. I'm like, this dude Aizen mind fucked her. Straight up mind fucked her. She's so entrenched in Aizen, bro. She's not even like, she's still not understanding the fact, no, this guy needs to die, man. He literally killed you. And it was just barely, and you just barely had enough life force to be brought back to the life, man. That goes to show you whatever this guy pretty much freaking was so damn smart in his plan to find a way to get Momo to be so entrenched in this guy. I want to be shocked if this guy probably piped her up and she just loved it. Maybe that's what she did before he ended up faking his death. He probably piped her up and pretty much made her just like, oh no, he really loves me and stuff like that as she's getting it up the butt, pretty much. Um, but I heard this, I'm like, dude, that's fucking crazy, bro. This it might have to honestly take Aizen showing up confronting Momo, saying, "Oh, Momo, I'm sorry, but sorry, you're nothing to me anymore." Maybe it's gonna be. I just have a sneaking suspicion that Momo's gonna find a way to get involved in this arc in this Aizen storyline, and it might have to come to the whole thing of maybe she actually turns on the Soul Society because she's just too much in love with Aizen, and maybe we have to get a legit fight between Toshiro and Momo for Toshiro to save Momo from herself, from this, I guess you can say, this just puppy following of Aizen, bro. You feel really bad for Momo because this guy Aizen did so many effed up things to this girl to make it to where, he installed this belief that he actually valued her, and now she just thinks that he can be saved. He's too far gone. This guy cannot be saved. This guy needs to die. It's messed up, man. It's messed up. So I'm really gonna be interested to see where this Momo storyline is gonna go. And it's also furthers Toshiro's whole thing of wanting to get revenge and just take Aizen down because Momo is a friend to him. That was his childhood friend, somebody he grew up with and everything, and stuff like that. And maybe you can also say that maybe Toshiro's feeling like this because he actually does ultimately have feelings for Momo. I think that's another thing that hasn't been developed yet. I think he actually has legit feelings, romantic feelings for Momo, and he ultimately really cares about her, and her safety and stuff like that. And he doesn't like this. But like I said, the Soul Society characters, they're terrible. But that presumes in frickin' Ichigo going to school the next day, Tatsuki actually shows up now. In the meantime, with Tatsuki, Tatsuki is actually, we get revealed with Tatsuki at the start of the arc. She actually sees Ichigo multiple times in his Shinigami state, and she can see him fighting and doing everything. Like, she comes across him fighting Green Gel the first time and stuff like that, and she's wondering like what's going on with Ichigo, and she can't feel Orihime's presence no more. And she pretty much confronts Ichigo and says, "Where's Orihime? Please tell me what's going on." And stuff like that. To the point she even says, like, look, I know what you're doing. You go out in this black robe and you're fighting these people and stuff like that. What's going on? You know something about Orihime that I don't. Just tell me. Get it out the way and just tell me. And Ichigo, obviously, for some dumb, a typical shonen trope. It's a typical shonen trope where you have your main character who's kind of put in a tough position not to do anything, but kind of in a way kind of makes up their mind of what they want to do. They don't want to tell other characters, okay, this is what's going on. Mind you, I ultimately didn't like this, especially the fact that when Tatsuki goes on to say, I know you're fighting in a black robe with a sword, pretty much. Just tell me, Ichigo. I'm like, dude, you should just tell her now. I'm like, dude, if she saw you, just tell her now. But no, he doesn't. He's like, this is none of your damn business. Stay out of my way and stay away from me. And it's actually a very emotionally gripping scene because Tatsuki ultimately cares. So this also leads to the thing of Tatsuki. Maybe Tatsuki, I don't know what's gonna happen with Tatsuki, but we have it to where at the end of this arc, we have it to where Ichigo shows up at Uehara, and Uehara pretty much tells him, I'm like, Uehara pretty much tells him, oh, so you, I knew you would show up, and pretty much Uehara is making Ichigo Uryu, who has returned from his training, which he got his Quincy powers back. He almost got legitimately hit in his heart to do it, but he's brought back. And Chad, who's a lot more stronger as well, and he displays it to Ichigo too, and pretty much, you know, and pretty much the thing is they open the entrance to Waco Mundo so they can go save Orihime together, and that's kind of where the arc ends off. In the meanwhile, Tatsuki, Keigo, and the third friend, they were falling strictly behind Ichigo. Uehara made a mention after they left, like, you guys can come out now, and stuff like that, and pretty much he makes the mention to Tatsuki and the others that they knew they were there the entire time. And he left the door open purposely for you to see this. So now this will definitely show that maybe Tatsuki will have a lot more of an increased role in this whole operation of now knowing what's ultimately going on. Also, at the same time, we have it to where Ichigo's father Ishiki pretty much shows up in front of Uryu's father, and apparently they know each other. Did they used to fight alongside each other back in the day? I'm guessing so. And pretty much that's kind of it. But ultimately, the arc ends with Ichigo, Chad, and Uryu going to Waco Mundo in an effort to go save, like in an effort to go save Orihime. And that's where, in my eyes, the Arrancar arrival arc ends. And this is when we're getting into the Waco Mundo stuff and the Waco Mundo arc. Altogether, this arc was really damn good. I freaking enjoyed this arc with just the stressful moments and everything, and this whole thing of having Orihime captured and everything, and then Aizen's whole storyline of wanting to kill the Soul King pretty much and open the gates to that region, that area. It's really gonna be crazy. And this, Grimjaw. I know this thing with him and Ichigo, it ain't over, and they're gonna get another rematch with this time Ichigo more than likely coming out on top. And I'm definitely looking forward to what I said Black Clover. Bleach is going to offer me in the Wake of Moon arc. This arc was really good at building up. This is the shit after coming off the fucking Bounce arc that I'm like, no, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is the Bleach that I've been waiting for. Not that stuff with the Bounce arc, and stuff like that. We get to the point, we get to these story points, they don't drag these fights out and stuff like that. We're good. And I'm very intrigued to see where this. Now, my only one slight criticism so far of this storyline is this is giving me, vibes of Soul Society arc. Legitimately, it's the same exact thing. Or Hime gets captured, just like when Rukia at the start got captured by the Soul Reapers to bring her back to get executed. Same thing happened here. Ichigo and company have to go to said dimension to be able to save one of their friends who's being held captive by their enemy. And I'm like, I remember watching them, like, this is giving me, and even now, I'm like with a little bit of episodes I'm in of the Waco Mundo arc, which I think I'm only 2 or 3 episodes in so far. I'm like, this is giving me Soul Society arc vibes here, bro. So my one criticism is there's nothing original here. I feel like the original stuff will definitely come later. But this just feels like a straight up Soul Society arc clone right here, which I don't think it's going to take away from my enjoyment of watching this. I just don't like the fact that it's a repetitive storyline, just told in a different way with some different features in it. But it feels like this is the exact same thing as a Slow Society arc. Now, Waco Mundo could convince me wrong. And like I said, I'm only like 3 episodes in, so I'm at the start pretty much. So, in a way, that could be the case. In another case, maybe it has unique things that make it different from the Soul Society arc. But like I said, I'll have to keep watching. But I enjoyed this arc. The Arrancar arc is definitely interesting. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next in the storyline. But if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this this arc review for Bleach, as well as hit that subscribe button. You want to get more Bleach arc reviews, as well as hit that subscribe button. You want to get more Bleach content or any other anime content upload to the channel. So next time we'll be back with the Waco Mundo arc. It's still considered the Arrancar arc, but it's the Arrancar arc Waco Mundo sneak entry stuff. So yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, stay safe. Peace.